Have you ever felt like your life is spinning out of control, with each day blending into the next with no real direction? Have you wondered why some people seem so centered, so focused, while you struggle to find clarity amid the constant noise? Are you tired of reacting to life instead of truly living it with purpose? Stop whatever you are doing right now and listen carefully. What I am about to share with you is not another empty promise or quick fix. If you apply these Stoic principles for just 7 days, transformation becomes inevitable. This is not exaggeration. This is lived philosophy. This is Stoicism in its most powerful form. You want to become stronger, more centered, more serene in the face of chaos? Then start today. Adopt these Stoic attitudes I am about to present and witness their direct impact on your thoughts, decisions, and even how others perceive you. In just 1 week, you can become unrecognizable for the better. Apply these lessons, feel them, change through them. Do not watch passively. Experience each lesson as if your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Stay with me until the end, because the final lesson is the most challenging and precisely because of that, the most powerful. It closes the cycle perfectly and ensures that you do not just change for a week but build a new pattern for life. Let us begin this journey together. Take a deep breath and let us focus on what truly matters. Lesson number 1, the power of silence. You wake up and before even opening your eyes, you already feel the weight of the world. Notifications, demands, comparisons. The chaos begins before your first cup of coffee. But the truth is, your mind was not designed to live in this constant noise. Stoicism teaches that inner strength is born in silence, and in today's world, silence has become an act of resistance. For the next 7 days, commit to a daily moment of complete silence. Just you, the present moment, and the sound of your own breathing. It might be 5 minutes in your car before leaving for work. It might be 10 minutes with your eyes closed before sleep. The place does not matter. What matters is that it is yours, a sacred space where the world cannot enter. You will be surprised by what you find in this silence. Your real priorities, your forgotten truths, your dormant strengths. It is in this space that great thoughts are born. It is in this silence that your peace strengthens. The practice is simple yet powerful. Turn everything off. Breathe deeply. Observe your thoughts without attachment. And notice, perhaps for the first time in a long time, that you are in control, not the world. You. This first lesson is not just the beginning of a routine. It is the start of a new type of mindset. A cleaner, more lucid, more stoic mindset. Now that you have learned to silence the world, it is time to learn something even more difficult, not immediately reacting to it. Lesson number 2, replace reactions with observations. Have you noticed how most people live on emotional autopilot? Someone speaks harshly, you snap back. A small error occurs, you explode. A frustration appears, you become discouraged. But Stoicism invites you to do something rare and revolutionary: observe before reacting. For the next 7 days, practice the sacred pause between stimulus and response. When something bothers you, before acting or speaking, ask yourself, does this deserve my reaction? Often the answer will be no, and just this exercise will save you from regrets, unnecessary arguments, and thoughtless decisions. Apply this to small things. Someone cuts you off in traffic, breathe. A colleague at work makes an ironic comment, observe. A plan fails, see what can be done without drama. Emotional control is not weakness. It is brute force disguised as serenity. This practice does not make you passive. On the contrary, it puts you in the position of choosing how to act rather than being pushed by the emotions of others. Those who master this skill begin to make wiser decisions, speak less nonsense, and live with much less guilt. You will notice that by reacting less, you become more present, more aware, more powerful. If you have made it this far, it is because you are committed to your evolution. So hold tight, because the next lesson will take you to another level. Lesson number 3. Transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Most people believe that personal evolution comes from major milestones, moving to a new city, changing jobs, taking an expensive course. But the Stoics knew something that few understand today. Excellence begins in the details, and it is in the most common tasks that you truly begin to transform. Washing dishes, making your bed, folding clothes. These acts, which many treat with laziness or disdain, can become tools for focus, discipline, and presence. Choose one task from your day, just one, then transform it into a Stoic ritual. Do it calmly, with full attention, without complaining. Do it as if it were an art. With each movement, you train your mind. With each repetition, you teach your brain to be constant, even when the world outside seems to be falling apart. Great men and women are not those who do something incredible occasionally, but those who do the basics with mastery every day. If you remain faithful to this exercise for the next 7 days, you will notice that your posture changes, your gaze changes. Even your way of speaking changes, because those who master the small prepare themselves to conquer the immense. If this message is making sense to you, take this moment to subscribe to the channel. True transformation requires consistency, and this channel was made to accompany you on this journey. Now, with this foundation of discipline and presence built, it is time to take a bold step, create your own Stoic rules and put them into practice in the real world. Lesson number 4. Create your own Stoic rule. You have spent too much time following rules that others created. Invisible rules about what to wear, how to speak, what to feel, what to tolerate. But now is the time to turn the game around. Stoicism invites you to something liberating. Define your own internal laws and live them firmly. For the next 7 days, create one Stoic rule per day. Just one. Simple, direct, but non-negotiable. For example, today I will not complain about absolutely anything. Or today I will listen more than I speak. Or today I will not compare myself to anyone. Write this rule first thing in the morning. Put it on paper or set it as the background on your phone, and live this principle all day long. Not as an obligation, but as an exercise in identity. It is your word to yourself, and when you commit to small daily truths, you build a strength that no one can take away. The goal here is not to impress anyone. It is to shape your character from within. Each Stoic rule you live by makes you more lucid, more firm, and less manipulable by external chaos. And most curiously, people will begin to notice without you saying a word. This practice is like sharpening a sword every day. You do not see great results immediately, but when you need to cut something heavy, a difficult decision, a tense moment, you will be ready. Now that you have started to create and live by your own rules, it is time to do something that many avoid out of fear. Face difficult conversations with courage and wisdom. Lesson number 5. Initiate difficult conversations without fear. Have you noticed that many people suffer more from what they avoid than from what they face? Conversations that should happen but are postponed for weeks, months, sometimes years. Stoicism does not teach you to flee. It teaches you to face with clarity, firmness, and respect. And that is what you are going to do now. Choose a conversation that you have been avoiding. It does not need to be a war. It could be apologizing. It could be a boundary that needs to be set. It could be a "we need to talk" that has been stuck in your throat for a long time. In the next few days, face this conversation, not for the result it will bring, but for the person you will become by having it. Prepare beforehand. Breathe. Define what needs to be said. Use a calm tone. Speak with honesty without pointing fingers. You are not there to win. You are there to be truthful. This is Stoic courage, doing what needs to be done even if your heart beats faster. You know what will happen. Instead of falling apart, you will grow. You will realize that what seemed like a monster was just a step that needed to be taken. And often, you will leave these conversations lighter, more respected, and above all, more whole. Avoiding discomfort is living half a life. Facing it is living with integrity. You choose. Now that you have had the courage to speak, it is time to do the opposite. Live an entire day as if no one were watching you, without masks, without performance, 100% you. Lesson number 6. Live a day as if no one were watching you. Now answer me honestly, how many of your attitudes today were really yours? And how many were shaped by fear of judgment, by the expectations of others, by the need to seem something that you are not always? During the next few days, propose to live a single day as if no one were watching you. Imagine that the entire world became invisible and that only you know what you are doing. What would you wear? What would you say? How would you behave? This practice is a watershed. Dress as you want, not as expected. Say what you really think, with respect but with truth. Make choices aligned with your values, not with your reputation. This exercise seems simple, but it reveals how much of your life is performance and how much is authenticity. When you stop living to please invisible audiences, something liberating happens. You begin to walk lighter, to speak with more firmness, to truly respect yourself. And ironically, it is at this moment, when you do not seek approval, that genuine respect from others begins to emerge. The Stoic does not depend on the acceptance of others to feel whole. He lives in peace because he knows who he is. He does not need to prove anything to anyone. This strength comes from within, and there is no praise or criticism that can steal it. And now that you have experienced the freedom of being 100% yourself, it is time to close this journey with something even more powerful. Face what you have been avoiding for far too long. Lesson number 7. Face something you have been avoiding for a long time. Now it is the moment of truth. Everyone has something they avoid, a decision, a commitment, a change, a forgotten dream. The mind creates excuses, time passes, and paralysis disguises itself as routine. But Stoicism was not made for those who hide. It was made for those who want to truly live, even with fear. During the next 7 days, choose one thing you have been postponing. The size does not matter. It could be scheduling a medical exam, sending a resume, returning to the gym, starting a project, writing that message, or even ending something that no longer makes sense. You know exactly what I am talking about. Now take a step, just one, but real, concrete, visible. If the step is small, that is okay. The important thing is to get out of stagnation. Because when you move, even with fear, you transform fear into momentum and begin to prove to yourself that you are no longer bound by what held you back. This is the essence of the Stoic. He does not wait to feel ready. He acts, he initiates, he faces. Because he knows that life is too short to be pushed aside. Lesson number 8. The power of strategic acceptance. The greatest struggle many of us face is accepting what cannot be changed. We spend countless hours fighting against realities that will not bend to our will. The loss of a job, an illness, the passage of time, the actions of others. But the Stoics understood a profound truth. Freedom comes not from controlling everything, but from mastering your response to anything. For the next 7 days, identify one situation in your life that you have been resisting, something you cannot change but have been fighting anyway. Now, practice strategic acceptance. This does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It means acknowledging reality exactly as it is, without the added suffering of denial. Say to yourself, this is how things are right now. Not how I wish they were, but how they actually are. From this place of clarity, ask, what can I actually influence here? What is completely beyond my control? By separating what you can and cannot control, you free up tremendous mental energy. You stop exhausting yourself fighting imaginary battles and redirect that power toward meaningful change where possible. This is not defeat. This is tactical wisdom. When you master this distinction, you develop an unshakable serenity. The traffic jam no longer ruins your day. The rude comment no longer steals your peace. The unexpected delay becomes just a fact, not a personal attack. Your power multiplies when you stop wasting it on the unchangeable. This is the paradox of Stoic acceptance. By surrendering the illusion of total control, you gain real power over the one thing you can always influence: yourself. Lesson number 9. Practice negative visualization. This might sound counterintuitive in a world obsessed with positive thinking, but the Stoics had a powerful practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Far from being pessimistic, this is actually a path to profound gratitude and preparedness. For the next 7 days, take 5 minutes each morning to visualize what could go wrong in your day. Not in an anxious, catastrophizing way, but with calm awareness. What if your computer crashes and you lose that important file? What if your partner has a bad day and comes home irritable? What if that minor health concern becomes something serious? By mentally rehearsing potential challenges, you accomplish 2 powerful things. First, you become prepared. Your mind has already visited this territory, so if difficulties actually arrive, you will not be paralyzed by shock. Second, and perhaps more importantly, when these difficulties do not materialize, you experience genuine gratitude for what is going well, rather than taking it for granted. This practice also helps you identify vulnerabilities in your plans. Perhaps you realize you need to back up your files, or create space for your partner to decompress, or schedule that medical checkup you have been avoiding. The goal is not to become paranoid, but to develop resilience. In a world that tries to sell constant positivity, the Stoic acknowledges that suffering is part of life, and by facing it in the mind first, gains the strength to face it in reality if necessary. Practice this, and watch how both your gratitude for the present and your readiness for the future deepen simultaneously. If you have made it this far in the video, I want to congratulate you. You are clearly someone who values depth over distraction, growth over comfort. Please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button if you have found value in these teachings. Your support allows this wisdom to reach others who may need it just as much as you do. Lesson number 10. The morning review and evening examination. The Stoics were masters of reflection, understanding that an unexamined day is hardly worth living. They practiced daily reviews to transform ordinary experiences into wisdom and growth. For the next 7 days, bookend your days with these 2 powerful practices. In the morning, before the day's chaos begins, sit quietly and ask yourself 3 questions. What virtues do I want to embody today? What challenges might I face? How would my ideal self respond to those challenges? This takes just 3 minutes, but sets a powerful intention for your actions. Then, in the evening before sleep, conduct an honest review of your day. What did I do well? Where did I fall short? What could I do differently tomorrow? The key here is to observe without judgment, like a scientist examining data rather than a critic looking for flaws. This daily practice creates a feedback loop of constant improvement. You begin to notice patterns in your behavior. You catch yourself before making the same mistakes. You acknowledge progress, however small. Most importantly, you develop the meta-awareness that separates those who simply exist from those who truly live. Marcus Aurelius practiced this faithfully. writing to himself each day in what would later become his meditations. Seneca reviewed his actions each evening, holding himself accountable to his own standards, not those of society. By implementing this ritual for 7 days, you create a container for transformation. Your life becomes not a series of reactive moments, but a consciously crafted journey. Your choices become more aligned with your deepest values, and the gap between who you are and who you want to be gradually closes. Lesson number 11, voluntary discomfort. Comfort can be a prison. The more we arrange our lives to avoid all discomfort, the weaker and more fearful we become. The Stoics understood this and regularly practiced voluntary discomfort to strengthen their resilience and appreciation for life. For these 7 days, deliberately introduce one small discomfort into your life each day. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, walk instead of drive, sleep on the floor for one night, speak to a stranger. Do anything that pushes you slightly beyond your comfort zone. This practice accomplishes several things simultaneously. First, it inoculates you against hardship. When you voluntarily embrace discomfort, unexpected difficulties lose some of their sting. Second, it deepens your gratitude. That warm shower feels miraculous after you have experienced a cold one. Third, it builds confidence in your ability to endure, showing you that your comfort zone is far smaller than your actual capacity for life. Seneca, despite being one of Rome's wealthiest men, regularly practiced periods of voluntary poverty. He would dress in simple clothes, eat plain food, and sleep on a hard mattress. Not because he had to, but because he understood that dependence on comfort is its own form of slavery. In a world that sells endless comfort and convenience, choosing temporary discomfort is revolutionary. It declares that you are not defined by your pleasures or pains, but by your choices and principles. When you realize you can be content even in discomfort, you discover a freedom that cannot be taken from you. Lesson number 12, the philosophical retreat. In our hyper-connected world, we rarely give ourselves permission to truly step back and examine the larger questions of our existence. Yet the Stoics considered regular philosophical retreats essential to a well-lived life. For your final Stoic practice, create a philosophical retreat during these 7 days. Set aside at least 1 hour where you disconnect completely and engage with the fundamental questions of your life. Where am I going? What do I truly value? What would I do if I knew I could not fail? What advice would I give to my younger self? What virtues do I want to be remembered for? Find a quiet place, perhaps in nature, perhaps in a corner of your home. Bring a notebook. Leave your phone behind. The goal is not to solve all life's mysteries, but to create space for your deeper wisdom to emerge. Epictetus taught that philosophy is not just theoretical knowledge, but practical guidance for living. Your retreat is not an indulgence, but a necessity, a recalibration of your compass when the world has pulled you off course. Many people go their entire lives without ever seriously examining their path, automatically following patterns established by chance, habit, or the expectations of others. This 1 hour can be the beginning of living deliberately, of choosing your direction rather than being carried by currents you never questioned. When you emerge from this philosophical retreat, you may not have all the answers, but you will have started asking better questions. And in the realm of wisdom, the quality of your questions often matters more than the certainty of your answers. If the wisdom in this video has resonated with you, please share it with someone who might benefit from these Stoic practices. Leave a comment below sharing which lesson spoke to you most deeply, or simply write, "I am grateful, so I know you stayed until the end." Remember, you become unrecognizable when you choose to act differently, and you have chosen. By watching this entire video, You have already separated yourself from those who seek quick fixes and shallow solutions. You have demonstrated patience, curiosity, and commitment, qualities that the Stoics themselves would recognize and respect. These 12 Stoic principles are not just beautiful ideas. They are practical invitations to a new way of living. If you apply even one of them consistently, your life will begin to change from the inside out. It is not magic, it is discipline. It is not luck, it is choice. And you have chosen well. The path of the Stoic is built one day at a time, and your next step begins now. Apply these lessons, feel them, and return to them whenever you need strength in an uncertain world.